AITA for walking out of a makeup party my parents threw for me after my sister announced she had miscarried? Am I the asshole? Character listen 262. NTA, but everyone else is in this story. The emotional abuse your family has put on you your entire life is bonkers. You have worth. Your existence in this world should be celebrated. I had a very abusive sister growing up, and I had to set some big boundaries as an adult. Sometimes the toxicity in families means you have to distance yourself and create your own circle of love and support. Find the people that love you and want to celebrate you. You sound like a person who will find them easily. All the best. Confident_macaron_15. 2766. Obviously the birth cancer diagnosis wasn't intentional, but everything subsequently has been. It's attention-seeking behavior. It is her currency and you are her source. She gets a serotonin boost from doing this to you. This is deep-seated and cannot be fixed with a quick chat with your parents. My advice is establish and protect your friend group and keep it entirely separate from your family. Your family will take anything that is yours and give it to her to assuage guilty feelings associated with having a sick child. You are a glass child. They will never prioritize your health, mental, physical, over hers. They do not even recognize they are doing it. Get away and start building your own support system. Not saying cut them off, but their behavior is toxic and damaging to you. Take them in very small doses. Remember, behavior is a pattern. They absolutely will keep doing this to you. Little Beast 987. 4834. NTA. She keeps hijacking your birthday to be all about her. She has serious main character syndrome. I am sorry for what you are going through. You are absolutely not the but your sister and parents certainly are. Consider going low contact and protect yourself. And if you have parties in the future, don't ever tell your sister where they are. Take care of yourself. Blue-Eyed Wolf. 1289. Sorry, you are the glass child, and even when they try to make it up to you they look right through you and Sante you have left. XA0 you sister has proven, XA0 she is an attention seeker. You parent have proven that she will always come first. XA0 she didn't need to come. She didn't need to make her announcement. XA0 and her husband should have kept his mouth shut. Deciding who gets to stay at your party. XA0 NTA the fact they didn't notice for 2 hours that you had left says everything. XA0 don't invite sister or parents to any other important celebrations. Make sure you post a happy birthday to yourself every year on your actual birthday, highlighting that your birth might not have been important for others, but it is special for you and you will celebrate it. XA0 inches. Gap apprehensive 3184. 22926. As someone who has miscarried, WTF. Something is wrong with your sister. Who the hell announces to a whole party room that they have miscarried? I would have left too. Dusty Gate. 518. NTA. Your family has repeatedly overshadowed your special moments with their own issues, making it hard for you to enjoy your achievements. Asterisk. Walking out of the party was a way to take care of yourself after your sister once again shifted the focus away from you. Your feelings are revalid, and your family needs to understand the impact of their actions on you equals. VY_Canis_Majories. 880. NTA. I am a mom of 3. My eldest had an extremely aggressive, often deadly childhood cancer. What happened to you is not normal, even in crisis, and not okay. Your parents should have gone to therapy to process their feelings and not taken them out on you. Your sister is an adult who now also needs therapy. But I have a small amount of sympathy for her as your parents raised her this way. You deserve to be cherished. Nothing about you is the worst day. Healthy_meal 1485. 304. 4. AITA for telling my husband to accept the compromise we agreed on for our child's name or figure. Out a better compromise? Quote, am I the asshole? Expert delay 5754. Info XA0 greater than XA0 I should use both to make it more fair. XA0 was he planning to do the same? If not, that would be 3/4 his way and 1/4 your way. That's capitulation, not compromise. I always thought things were fair or unfair. More fair doesn't really fit because more fair to him seems to be less fair left for you. So that's unfair. Latents 1658. If NTA you came up with a perfect compromise and I really like the name and their variants you came up with. You did a great job and he's suddenly or still unhappy. Even if girl's name was IDK Stephanie. Majority of people, friends, family, would call her Steph. If boy's name was IDK again William had be call Will. Only exceptions are short name like John, James, Lyra etc. But he wants longer name. He won't avoid nicknames. He thinks, if it's a girl, her friends will call her Theodora? I really don't understand his struggle cause really the nicknames will almost always be there. Plus, how will his family call the child? No nicknames at all? Just Stephanie or William always? No Steph. Will ever? Don't understand this part and would like more info about his family. So NTA. You really came up with a perfect compromise and he's stepping back on it. It doesn't even make sense since he won't avoid nicknames. Empress Lady D. 3409. NTA your ask is reasonable. He seems very uptight. The one thing I'd say is, you should both respect the version of the name that your child chooses when they are old enough to have a preference. Wombat_sprinkle. 14,313. NTA I think he's being weird. Most people call kids by nicknames. Like I am also a fan of the formal name option. But I also like having nicknames. Even if you guys picked shorter names that don't have nickname options people might end up calling them Peanut, Little Man, Ladybug IDK some other nickname BC it's a way to show affection. I would suggest he pick formal names that have nicknames he likes all of BC your kid will likely decide for themselves at some point what they want to go by and it might not be the first one you chose. Skyward 93. 896. I knew a dude once with a one-syllable name because his mother didn't want people giving him a nickname. Think along the lines of John. Everyone ended up calling him by his initials. JC. So, even with best intentions, people will nickname anyone. NTA. You have formed a great compromise and he either needs to come up with new names to choose from or suck it up. The kids and their friends will ultimately decide what they end up being called. Whether either of you like it or not. Mankey Toothbrush. 253. NTA. In my opinion, your original compromise was already him getting his way and you giving in completely. He was getting the legal names he wanted. Regardless of what compromise you reach. He doesn't get to dictate what name you use for your child or what name your child chooses to have. People call them when they are old enough to communicate a preference. He is demanding to get his way and to control what you call your child. Is he like this in other ways? Because I have a strong feeling he is controlling and rigid in many other ways. Huge red flags they've been ignoring. Is he going to be like this as a parent? Creepy_push 8629. 601. 1. I recommend to write at our name nerds if you decide to go back to the negotiations table. This sub is sometimes amazing with coming up with compromise names. Write the nickname dilemma and also give examples of names you each like. Maybe someone will have a perfect middle ground name. Like an old classic one that doesn't have a nickname. Spontaneous thought is Lisa or Lena. But there are more. That being said, Your husband is unreasonable to think that people will use the full name. Even if both of you use the full one. Names like Theodora, people will automatically shorten it. I know a Stephanie that doesn't like the short form Steph. But she gave up telling people not to use it. There is no chance. NTA. He can't dictate that. But be glad he said it before you names the baby, so there is still time to reconsider the names. Crystal 010 Rose. 293. AITA for asking my dad's wife why she expected to walk me down the aisle when she's not my mom. Quote, am I the asshole? Crazy _concept _3651. NTA. Frankly, the part that put it over the top for me was her seeming belief you wanted her to walk you instead of your dad. Not even just with your dad. Which would also already be a lot and very presumptuous. She's out of her mind. Dart 1126. 1567. NTA. XA0 You didn't ask her the question out of the blue. She randomly approached you to discuss it and had the wrong idea from the start. When you were confused and corrected her, she was embarrassed and hurt and lashed out. XA0 I assume your dad dated her when you were 18 plus? And your siblings even older than that. She likely is just very fond of you all and felt like you were her kids and assumed you all just don't feel the same way. My friend's mom's boyfriend and my friend were super close. My friend considers her mom's boyfriend more of a father figure than her own dad. This was when my friend was already in her 20s. She even calls him dad. So it's not impossible to form these bonds as adults. You and your siblings just never felt that way. XA0 It's unfortunate that she assumed and it led to this. XA0 inches. Archetyping 101. 4195. NTA As you have said, you have no motherly connection to your dad's wife. She joined your family long after you were raised by your dad. And you had moved on into adulthood. At 22, it's very bizarre that her expectation is to be treated like a parental figure when she herself knows she wasn't around to be a parent to you. She should not have assumed you meant to ask her for that role. Especially when there is zero evidence or reason that you would. I would suggest, though, that instead of trying to keep the peace by avoiding the subject, you have a talk with dad and your siblings about making your feelings clear to your dad's wife. There's no reason why you can't all have a good family relationship without someone assuming they have to be a certain role. Parent or child, etc. Quote. Doctor_Seagull. 481. NTA And glad your dad is just as confused as you are. Not sure why she would think she suddenly gets to be mom when they all been adults for at least 4+ years before she married your dad. Also weird for her to assume that she would be the only one walking you down versus her and your dad. Maybe she also assumed your fiancé was doing the traditional dad walks down instead of both parents and thought it would be her because of the corresponding opposite gender? Either way, she seems a little out of touch with reality and too focused on the version of it which exists in her head where she's a doting mom to a bunch of adults whose bio mom died. Author 124. 266. NTA. Honestly, I don't get the stepmom entitlement thing. My mom died when I was a kid. Dad remarried twice. The second time, third wife, when I was in my early 50s. She lived to introduce me as her stepdaughter. I only met her a few times. And she is way closer to my age than dad's. Just marrying someone doesn't make you a real parent. OK_illustrator_7445. 43. NTA. It sounds like your stepmom has some real issues with boundaries and emotional intelligence. She comes across as a really pushy person. She was being overly intrusive and your response was completely acceptable. If she wants to pitch a fit about it, that's her problem, not your problem. ID takes some space. And if it comes up again, simply say it's your wedding. It's your decision. and you do not want to discuss it with her further. Whatever you do, do not let her suck you into her self-pitying drama and detract from this special day. Xeng Gal 1984. 39. AITA. That's the work of an attention seeker who wants to be seen as the belle of the ball. Let her steep in her own self-sentiment. It is your wedding. You have better things to be at. Never mind than trying to keep anyone entertained in their own self-importance. Enjoy your day. No_T 7958. 77. AITA. For telling my husband he's too broke to be so sexist? Am I the asshole? OK_schedule 1138. Sucks the kids were there for it, but he deserved worse. NTA should have ordered only enough food for you and the kids. Why comment queasy? 6177. NTA, I get you want to present a united front to the kids, but he said that about you in front of them, and that is not an idea you want taking root in your children's mind. He was banking on you bowing to peer, family pressure to get away with this disrespect of you and your family's normal way of division of labor. He gambled and lost on that, and I am really proud that you did not bow down just because his parents were there or that the kids were in the room. Too many people let things like this slide so as not to upset the apple cart. This is all on him. He decided it was better for him and easier for him risk your feelings than stand up to his parents. He chose to upset you versus upsetting his mother. I honestly would not have let them have any of the takeout food. I would have probably taken my kids and left to have dinner with just me and the kids. Judge everyone's business. 797. NTA. Your husband was indeed a coward. He has been a willing participant in your marriage all along and has gamely contributed to the agreement you have that works for you both. It was incredibly hurtful of him to not uphold his own decisions nor defend his wonderful partner of a wife to his parents. When the shit hit the fan, he failed to hold up. And that's a really sad realization for you. What you said might have been hurtful and cutting, but it was the truth. And only came out because he said, also in front of your children, that you weren't a proper woman and didn't take adequate care of your home and children. Frankly, he needed to hear it. How can he think you should be more or better with all that you're already doing? Does he think it's really a valid option for you to just drop your work and career to be a homemaker? And how does he think that's gonna go for your family? It's absurdly impractical and makes him look like an imbecile to think it has merit. Hate to fall into old Reddit tropes, but it's gotta be therapy or divorce time. No? Definitely do the therapy route, because it sounds like he's like 85% bought in and working to be a better person. But that 15% reared its head when his parents came around. Which might mean you need some firm boundaries against his parents. It's sickening that they abused their influence of him and used their time with him alone to turn him against you. If it were me, they would not be welcome in my home ever again, and I'd be seriously considering limiting their access to the grandkids as well. Because they are poisonous against you. Owls_and_cardinals. 2338. NTATO. Be honest. I would been even meaner. Oh honey, I would love to be there for my children and cook meals for you. But as you can't provide for me, like a traditional man would, and can't lead but are led by your mother, I am forced to be the man and the woman here. I also won't tolerate to be talked to like your mother does in my own home. In my home, eating food I pay for. Another word and I will kick them out. Your husband needs a spine. Desperately. Cake-eating rabbit. 1391. 1. NTA. First thing to do is tell the ILs they are no longer welcome in your home. If husband wants to see them, he can go visit them. ID put strict rules in place about contact with the children. Your children should not have to listen to them denigrate their mother. Do talk to your children and say you're sorry they had to hear that and that adult conversations should be private. Do not apologize to your husband. He was fine with letting his parents attack you, and he said you were not a proper woman. He should be groveling at this point. Tell him he has a choice of therapy for himself or divorce. Your children do not need to be brought up in a sexist, demeaning household. Be firm and take care of yourself. Squirrel Sare Evil 2479. 680. Obviously NTA. But I do have to wonder, what exactly has your husband and parents-in-law been saying about you? Amongst each other? Doesn't sound like your husband is stopping any malicious slandering. Sounds more like he's joining in. More than that, how much of what they've slandered you about was said in the hearing of the kids? Little mice have large ears. And kids have a habit of eavesdropping when the adults gossip about their parents. There's a huge crisis in your marriage right now. Since your husband basically betrayed you. Like literally took what you agreed on, equality, and trusted him with your children, and did the opposite of what you trusted him to do. It's a betrayal. I am sorry you are dealing with this. I'd be interested in hearing what he has to say for himself when you talk to him. And you must talk to him about it. ASAP. Metal Morian. 430. NTAA, proper man, husband, wouldn't allow someone to disrespect his wife like that and would be strong enough to stand up to a guest in his home. He is weak and cowardly. They can leave and take him with them if they don't find you a proper woman, mother, wife. There are so many men who are so vocal out one side of their mouth about wanting a traditional women relationship where the woman is subservient and the man leads. But out the other side they yell gold digger and shit at the idea of picking up the financial cost of supporting a woman he wants available 24/7 to see to his needs. Hell, they won't even pick up the whole dinner tab. Kindly Celebration 223. 224.